Hello, hello. Welcome back. And if you're new, a very welcome to you. It's been, I think, a month since I put up the last video, but I've been quite busy. I've got another part-time job, so working a lot more. But I'm just making a quick update to show you where the portfolio is. At the moment, I've 692 different stocks and ETFs in the portfolio, and it's coming along quite nicely. Quite a few of them have hit the double-digit mark, which is always nice. And a lot of the monthly payers are still paying a decent amount. The US dollar has also become more valuable compared to the euro. So what's happening now is any dividends I receive in dollars, so say KBC Group, no, that's in euro. Pembina Pipeline is in dollars. So when I receive dividends from a US company, or any company that pays in dollars for that matter, I'm receiving more dividends because the US dollar is being converted into euro. But then when I try to invest into US based companies or companies denominated in dollars, I get less shares for my euro. So I'm just focusing on UK stocks and European stocks for the moment. So I'm sitting at 692 investments, and there is a couple that are in growth, hopefully, Google as well. And they're mainly, the largest ones are mainly monthly paying stocks because I wanted them to pay the €1 per dividend payment as fast as possible, because I'll be receiving 12 per year from each company. There's also a list of UK stocks that I've put quite a bit into, so they're bulking up nicely. That's these ones, the UK Dividend Aristocrats of 2021. But I made a separate video on them if you want to have a look at that. But these are just some of the best dividend paying stocks in the UK, and I made this pie to kind of keep a balance between all of them. Yeah, they've all gone way back up. Nice to see, given the horrible circumstances in some markets at the moment. I know the crypto market has been absolutely decimated. Good lord. I thought it was going all right for a little while. I have little bits in a few different cryptocurrencies, and a couple of them were doing decent. I had Quant, and I got in at like 110, and it went up to like 160 or 170. It was looking well, and it's gone way back down again because of that absolute bandit that was running FTX. Shyster. But hopefully he'll have his day in prison. Anyway, not to get off topic. So a couple of personal things. One that's very exciting. I got a notification a little while ago from YouTube saying that I can now create community posts, which are basically written posts. And I think that happened after I hit 450 subscribers. And thank you all very much for that. It's very encouraging to see. So that also means that if something happens like a demerger or an acquisition or any of those wonderful things, I don't have to make like a short video from a mobile phone. I can just make a written post, maybe with a picture. But I've never actually made one, so I'm not too sure how they work. But I can just say, oh, this company has had a demerger, or it's changed its name to this, or it'll be a nice streamlined process for getting the information out there. I don't seem to have any, but in the future when it happens. I also sold some accumulating ETFs. I'll go into my history. Orders, yes. So anything that says accumulating like this, the dividends are automatically reinvested, so you won't receive them. They'll just go back into this ETF. And that's not really what I want in this portfolio. It's not really the objective. So I sold a good few of them. Looks like about 8. Yeah, I think just 8. There's probably a few more that I have to get, but I think they were all slightly in the red. There was no profit on any of them, but it was only a matter of a few cents, so it's not too bad. But yeah, just to get them out of there. And it means that I have, I think, about €45 to invest now. So the realized profit will have gone down a little bit, but not really enough to notice. We're coming up on €350 in dividends so far. And I've deposited 9,500 and took out about €900. And this will also be affected by the deposit fees, wherever they may be. Yes, these 1 cents that come out, that comes out of here, comes out of withdrawals. So you deposit, when I go to put in €1, it will deposit €1 and 1 cent and then take the 1 cent. Well, nothing too major. And while I'm on the subject, this is like a point that I want to make about this whole phase that people had recently where they wanted their exchange to not that they didn't want it to make money, but they didn't want fees. I never really understood that concept. If I'm going to have my life savings with any exchange or any ETF or any website or whatever, any organization or institution, I would want them to have as much streams of income as is humanly possible while it's still worth my while. And how this works out is 1 cent per euro that I put in. They also will make a bid on trades, as far as I know. They'll say they have no commissions, but they have to make their money, So it's just my own personal opinion. I don't really understand why people want a service like this for free. I don't think they understand how complicated it actually is. But that's just my 2 cents on the issue. So I sold a few of those accumulating ETFs, and I've got €45.86 to invest. So I think that is going to go into these new ETFs that I bought, the Global Super Dividends. Probably be quicker to just search them out in my investments. But yeah, another important point while I'm looking for these is one of my subscribers pointed out that any Irish or EU domiciled ETF, they will want 42% of that in tax after 8 years. So it's a little bit annoying, bit of a nuisance, but at least the position will never be so big that it will cause a massive problem. I just need to keep in mind that after 8 years, they expect 42% of it in tax. But that's pretty much all I know about it so far. So when I get more information on it, I'll put it into a separate video and upload it. So these are the two, Global X Super Dividend. And the reason I have two is because they're in 2 different currencies. This is dollars and this is pounds. So I'm going to, I think, put €20 into each one. I want to get these up to €1 per dividend payment as soon as possible because they pay every month. And only recently they allowed this fractional shares. So it used to be you had to buy an entire share, which, it isn't an astronomical amount of money, but it's a little bit annoying if you want to put it into a pie. You wouldn't actually be able to put it into a pie. But I'll throw that in there, see how it does. And then when I get paid at the end of the month, I will bulk them up even more. So I've gotten a second part-time job, and it means that 2 days a week are with one business and that pays every week, and the other 3 days per week are with another business and that pays once per month, which means I can live off the 2 days of work, like spending money, and invest a tiny bit, and then at the end of the month I can then use that for paying bills off and anything I need to pick up, and then investing what's left. But ideally, in my own opinion, if it's feasible for you to do so, minimum 10% of what you make invested in something. Now, if you make €100, now for a good day's work, you just put 10 of it away immediately. And if you have the means to put more in, put more in. So those 2 orders should go through in the morning. And one more thing is this pie, which has been doing pretty well. It's recovered nicely. Now this is a good indication of why, when there is bad news, if you plan on investing in companies for the long term, it really doesn't matter what happens in the short term. These all fell off a cliff when that mini budget came out in the UK. Absolute disaster. They were just talking about how they're going to borrow billions and billions and pretty much had no plan of how to get it back. No feasible plan. All of these fell off a cliff. I put I think a tenner into each one. And as you can see, they're all doing quite well. But I have realized that in this pie, I'm going to have to export everything and put them down into the A to Z list of all the stocks. And the reason I have to do that is my plan for this was to keep track of this pie every year. And any company that still meets the criteria for this list will stay in the pie. Whoever falls out of it will be removed and they will be replaced with whoever now qualifies for it. And this is where I got the idea for this pie. This is from the Dividend Power website. It's an absolute goldmine of information if you want to check it out. But this is one of their lists that they keep track of, the UK High Yield Dividend Aristocrats of 2022. And what I'm going to do in my portfolio is every year, as I said, basically modify it, but keep the ones that have made it into the next year, keep them in so that they'll get a larger position than the other ones. But then I realized that if I was to say invest €50 into this pie, ideally I would want it to self-balance, so to fill in the gaps. But that means these are the two new ones, HomeServe and United Utilities Group. These came in 2022. So what would happen is any money I put in is just going to bulk up the brand new ones, which is not what I want. I want to basically give more investment and more funds into the ones that have done well consecutively over the years. They should have a larger piece. So what I need to do is export everything out of here, put it into the A to Z list of all the stocks, and then just start this one fresh. So the difference this will make is if I put €50 in now, it will distribute it evenly amongst everyone. And then the next time I put money in, say this has gone down 10% and this has gone up 10%, the one that has gone down will get a little bit more just to fill in the gap, to get them all to 10%. So it will take a little while just to pop these back in. I won't bore you with all of that, but that's pretty much the general gist of what's been going on. Things are improving. I'm working a bit more. The YouTube channel is improving, even though I haven't had much time to put into it recently. I can now make community posts, and it is growing in subscribers, which I very much appreciate. Sold a few accumulating ETFs, and just have to clean this one up a bit. And there was also, in the future, I realized that I'm going to have to, these are all brand new, these bonds, pies that I made. I'm going to have to export everything out of all of these and put it into A to Z's, because there's no slot for these ETFs in the full library. So if you're new and you don't really know what I'm talking about, I basically have one slot for every single member of this portfolio down here. So these are the ones that start with letters. This is A to AL, and so on and so forth through the alphabet. And this is just kind of like the bank that if I say put €2 into one particular company, I'll just import that into wherever it belongs down here. But ideally I would want everybody to have a position down here, and then some particular ones will have another position in another pie. So say these are bonds that are in dollars, bonds in pounds, bonds in euros. Got the Dividend Titans. These are all companies that have paid dividends consecutively for 100 years without missing one. So these will get not only a section down here, but also this pie. When I put money into it, their position will get even larger. If a company starts down here, the dividend contenders, and then year after year after year goes by and it moves up to every single one, each time it will be given more and more and more, so it will become larger relative to the rest of the portfolio. But that's pretty much it. Nothing too exciting. Now I'm still about 12% down, which is about par for the course so far, because I have 1,000 in AMC and I have 1,000 in, or about 800 in GameStop, both of which have fallen quite a bit, so the overall portfolio is suffering. But it's the way she goes.